Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Full Circle Network. I'm editor-in-chief of FullCircleCinema.com, Jackson Hayes. And before I throw it to my illustrious panel here, I just want to thank everybody for giving us so much love on the last video, the Swamp Thing review. It was our highest viewed video, and we're back to review episode 2, otherwise entitled Worlds Apart. So we're going to spoil episode 1 here. So if you haven't seen episode 1, do not watch this review. We're not going to spoil episode 2, because by the time this comes out, it will not have come out yet, but episode 1 will have, so go back and watch that, then come back here and we'll discuss episode 2. So today I'll be joined by, first of all, my managing editor, Marcos Melendez.
Hey, what's up, guys? Glad to be back. Had a really good time reviewing the first episode, and the second episode is also good. So, and we also have Jacob Campbell, our lead news writer.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm glad to be on the podcast. I don't really get to show up that often, so I'm really happy to talk Swamp Thing with you guys.
Back to you, Jackson. To have you here.
Thanks, man.
Just know that you're not on at your own discretion. It's not because we don't let you on.
I feel really attacked right now, and I don't know how to go on from here.
Well, we're gonna go on. We're gonna talk about Swamp Thing episode 2. So, episode two starts off right where we left off episode 1. So again, spoilers. So at the end, Alec Holland unfortunately meets his end. He is dead. He was shot in a boat investigating the what do you call it? The accelerant. The accelerants that they drop into the swamp. He was shot by a suspicious figure and then ended up falling into the swamp with the accelerants, and he turns into Swamp Thing. No surprise there. So with that being said, let's just start out from where we go from there, which is Abby seeing the explosion from the accelerants and going to investigate. So we'll start there and just jump off the discussion. So Jacob, let's start with you first. You hadn't got to talk about episode 1 on the channel yet, so just start off with episode 2.
Episode 2 was honestly a really great follow-up to episode 1. Like we said, it really picks up right. It picks up right after the action and the reveal of Swamp Thing itself, or himself, in episode 1. And I thought it was a really great, strong episode. I don't know if I preferred it over episode 1, because I really like the character introductions from the first episode. But it does kind of introduce a few new faces that I'm excited to see develop over the season.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later on. So
Marcus, what did you think?
I'm not sure if it's better than the first one, but it's certainly like it's almost up to par in terms of quality. It's slightly slower. I think as soon as it starts, you get the feel that this is going to be a bit slower than the first episode, especially since we're going to have Alec Holland for the most part. And we just focus on Arcane, and we, as you said, introduce a few new characters that I'm really excited about. But overall, it's a little slower until the end. But we get to learn more about the characters, learn more about Arcane, about Maria Sunderland, which I think she has quite a few scenes in this one. Learn more about her story, her dead daughter. Overall, it was good. Like it's as I said, it was slower. Beyond that, I mean, what do you think, Jackson?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just reiterate what you guys said, which is this was a great follow up. You can see dips in quality because, pilots are like a lot of the time what they focus on, what a show will focus on, because they need to get picked up. It works a little differently with streaming services because they get orders. But in terms of this, the pilot was made, and I was a little worrisome that the quality may fall off a little bit transitioning into like the regular episodes of the season. But it didn't really fall off at all. It was slower. We were really developing things, and a lot of our Abby stuff. We were going into her past more, which was teased in the first episode. Some really good scenes, a couple good acting scenes. The one guy I still have a problem with, who was still pretty prominent in this episode, was Avery Sunderland, Will Patton. His accent was still way over the top and like way too much for me, and he had a lot more to do in this episode, which was a little irritating because he just goes for it, and it's really not working for me so far.
And you mentioned it to me, like, you can barely understand what he's saying, and I have to agree with that. He really has a thick accent.
He's the only one. In the show
that's doing it. I don't know why.
It's honestly hilarious. Like, everyone's talking normal, and then he just goes into deep swamp voice, and it's the funniest thing ever. Everyone's like, how you doing today? He's like, well, out on the swamp today. I was like, that's hilarious. I just love
Right,
it.
and we've had like the side characters, like the guys who've gone out in the boats who have accents, and you can easily understand what they're trying to say. You know, they have the Louisiana accent, but they're going for it. But Avery Sunderland's just throwing it out there, and it's like, come on. Like he had two major scenes in this. One where we were introduced to one of the new side characters, Jason Woodrue, who's another scientist, the one who created the accelerant. So that's not really a spoiler.
That's not a spoiler at all.
No. It comes out, that's not a spoiler at all. But
and of course, there's more to that, and definitely
for sure. Yeah, there's more info to be had there, but they have a good back and forth because Kevin Durand, who plays Jason, he's been around TV. I've seen him on a lot of things.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
he's in everything.
Yeah, so he does a good job with bouncing off of in that moment, but again, Will Patton just is going for it, and he feels out of place in the series so far, which is taking place in the swamp and feeling out of place. It's kind of hard to do, but he's really he's doing it.
Yeah, he's doing it. Another character that was introduced is Blue Devil. Well, it's played by Sharknado. I believe he was in Sharknado.
Yeah, Ian Zerling.
Ian Zerling.
Dan Cassidy, he plays.
Dan Cassidy. He's introduced. He's in a pretty short scene, and he's only in that. But we do get a sense of, if he's a stunt actor. Well, he's an actor in his own movie series called Blue Devil. He owns this video store, and that's pretty much the extent of that. But he is pretty good in that role. He's pretty charismatic. You immediately kind of understand his deal. He has good chemistry with all the other characters. He was surprisingly good, simply because I thought, since he's from Sharknado, he was gonna suck. He's quite good.
He's been around TV a lot too, and it was a quick moment, but it was obviously set up for a bigger arc moving forward with that character. But in that moment, I was like, okay, yeah, like I'm interested in where this guy goes and what we're gonna see with him, because it was very quick. It was only a couple minutes, but I'm sure we'll see a lot more of him. What do you think of it, Jacob?
I really liked the character's introduction. Like we said, I wasn't sure how he was gonna do because he was from Sharknado, but he did a great job of kind of introducing himself. I'm excited to see what they do with Blue Devil, because I don't know if you guys have seen that full trailer they released the other day, but it does show a little bit of him, so I'm excited to see that on screen. Beyond that, I thought it was a good intro to a new character.
Yeah, I'm curious how they're, because when the show was announced and they were casting these actors, like when they casted Blue Devil, I was like, well, that's not a character that's usually like grounded in reality sort of thing. No. Where right, and I know Swamp Thing, it's mystical. Like we have Madame Xanadu, who has a scene in this episode, and there's like some mysticism, but his character is like a full on comic book character, more so than anyone else. So I was curious how they're doing it, but they're grounding this pretty significantly in a way that's working for me so far. As Doom Patrol sort of did, but also went way out there with a lot of their stuff. Yeah. Titans did more so completely grounded, which kind of had issues when they were going into Trigon and all that. Yeah. But this is doing a little bit of both, which is working for me.
Which is kind of one thing I'm starting to really love about these DC Universe shows, is each one has their own feel to it. They have their own like vibe with the show. Like you said, Titans is very grounded, kind of gritty, and Doom Patrol, it tries to stay grounded at times, but then it's not afraid to jump into like full comic book lore and just go wild with it. And I feel like Swamp Thing is it's a nice balance between that, where it is very grounded in reality, but then at the times it will go deep into like comics and mysticism, and it does the horror scenes really well. Like when it has those jump scares and everything, it does it really well, and it works for the show. I'm really loving that about the shows.
Absolutely. I think they're doing a good job sort of transitioning us into this mysticism, because I'll get your thoughts on this, Marcos, is that like towards the end of the episode, there's a couple things that happen that are very heavy into like, oh, there's something else going on here other than the science that we've been introduced to with this accelerant and the power of the swamp. There's something else at play here, which Madame Xanadu kind of plays into. So are you feeling good about how they're moving into this much more kind of comic book feel rather than the first episode that was pretty grounded?
Yeah, they're gradually doing it. As we were discussing about Blue Devil, he was seen in the trailer. In the trailer, small spoilers, it does show Blue Devil himself. It's a full-on creature suit. So we are going to get to that point where it's full-on comic booky, but we're gradually getting there. And I feel like this is it's probably the best way to do it, especially if you're not familiar with these comics or these characters. It's going to throw you off there if he's like in the first episode. If he's Swamp Thing first episode, just doing his thing, you're just going to be thrown off. but it does it really well. In the small scene that he's in at the very end, not to spoil it, of course, but Swamp Thing does get to do his thing. You get to see his full on, at least a little bit of his powers in play, and it's really well done. Of course, once again you get the VFX, the high quality production.
Right. Yeah. Because
go
ahead.
Yeah, I just want to. Yeah,
So,
I just wanted to
sorry.
mention. I just wanted to mention that they're doing all this, but also keeping true to the characters. It feels, and they're always like trying, like everything still feels grounded, but they're also feels completely like true to what the characters are and how the comic portrays them.
Yeah, what I feel like was really prominent in this episode was the fact that we're viewing this through Abby's perspective, and how she's not used to this kind of mysticism and these weird things, and it's not a spoiler to say that she has a run-in with Swamp Thing and she sees him. You see that at the end of the first episode as well. So it's not there's other interactions sort of in a way, and like we're also seeing her transition into this more like having to understand there's more at play here than what she originally thought in the swamp, and how weird things are getting. Which will definitely come out to play more. Another moment I want to talk about, which was we can go back to Virginia Madsen's Maria Sunderland, is like she's on a mission in this episode as well, which is part of the mystic part of the show going forward. But how did you feel about those scenes with her and like Madame Xanadu?
Yeah, there's like a little mystery plot on the side going on there. I thought it was fine. I wasn't totally like locked into it. I mean, it's weird enough. Like it was a decent scene. Her and Madame Maxadu. What's her name, right? No, Xanadu. Yeah,
Maxadu.
I definitely didn't butcher that. But yeah, it's a good scene per se. It has some good horror elements to it, but I wasn't completely locked in. I'm not sure how this story is gonna pan out, but I just like the design. I like the design of the bar of the whole, like it just seems very high quality. You don't see like the whole scene is something you don't see in any other show. Which I thought that's the most interesting part, even though they're like talking about her dead daughter, which I'm not fully like interested in.
Yeah, same question to you, Jacob. Did that scene work for you? That stuff work for you?
It was different. Like it kind of like was a sidestep from the rest of the episode. So it felt like it was going on a bit of a tangent. But I am excited to see how it does all play into the main story of Swamp Thing. Because I don't want to say too much and spoil it, but like Marco said, it was talking about the Sunderland's dead daughter, and so I feel like it's gonna play into what's going on with the swamp. I'm just not sure how. So I'm not like, it's not my main focus of when I'm watching the episodes, but I kind of do want to see where it goes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm not too well versed with Swamp Thing in the comic book, so Jacob, you know a little better than I do. So if I'm off here, let me know. But yeah. I feel like his awakening may have opened something within the swamp that is obviously at play here. Like obviously there was something there in general, because they from the get go they talk about how this swamp is special and this town of Marais is like special in a way. They keep talking about how this town is different and how weird things happen and strange things happen and people can't really get away from it. But I feel like the accident that happens causes something else to awaken in this town and bring whatever it's going to bring in terms of
exactly.
It's pretty much like that. I can't remember which version of Swamp Thing they are fully adapting, because it seems like they have a little bit of everything in there right now. But the swamp is, and like they said, it is special. It's like alive. And so that's what Swamp Thing is. He's the embodiment of the green and all life force on Earth. So I feel like him becoming Swamp Thing must have done something to the swamp, I guess. I'm not sure how they're going to go with it, but it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm intrigued. Is the important part. Like I'm invested. I'm interested from where we go, because this could go a lot of different ways where I fall off. Where it goes, more into the mystic stuff, or I'm not as interested anymore. Yeah. But it's really grounding us with the characters, which is really important. Which they do a very good job of with Abby and the cop Henderson Wade, who plays Matt Cable, her longtime friend who she reconnects with. He did a very good job in this episode as well.
I will say, you know what? I'm actually gonna disagree. I thought he was kind of annoying.
Oh, really?
I thought-
No, I thought they had like a nice moment later in the
I don't
episode.
know.
It was
I thought he was just being naggy at one point. I'm like, okay, man.
I don't know if
who
you've seen
cares?
that actor in Riverdale. They treat him like crap.
Oh, no,
They
yeah, I
treat him like
remember.
crap
Yeah,
on
yeah.
that show. And I thought, like,
Yeah,
I was always
yeah,
like, this
you know
guy
what?
is useless. What is he even here for? And then they're
That's
actually
a
giving him
good
something
point.
to do now. So I feel like he's actually getting to act a little bit.
Yeah, now that you say it, yeah, I do remember.
He's
so
way better than he
that's a
was
good
there.
point.
I'll tell you that.
Yeah, they're actually using him here. That's fine.
Right.
That's fair.
I mean, I'm interested in that dynamic, but obviously there's more stuff going on. So, well, let's just get into like the technical stuff. Lynn Wiseman directed this episode as well. I know we talked about him in the pilot episode. Jacob, we haven't gotten your thoughts on it, so we'll throw it to you in terms of directing for this episode.
I really, really like the directing of this episode. It, like I said, I like how they're keeping it grounded in the episode, but they aren't afraid to get with like the mystic side of it, and the direction of the episode it does that by focusing on the characters themselves, which I think is good because it makes me feel invested in what's going on with them. And I try to give like a show at least 3 episodes to get me hooked on the characters and their story, and the direction of the episodes, it's really helped to do that for me. You know, Marcos, what are you thinking?
Yeah, for sure, and I'm going to agree with you there. And also, just on the more technical side, once again, it's just going from the pilot, which was, of course, high quality, high budget. That's where they kind of blow everything up to get you interested in the show. The second episode doesn't do a lot of that, but it does have some action at the very end was some Swamp Thing stuff, really well handled. Once again, horror, but at the same time, it's really thrilling. It's entertaining. It's not gory just to be gory. It feels everything feels purposeful, and the way it's shot really well. I will say this is probably the best shot show in the DC universe. Probably the best shot superhero show. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah,
But on the technical side, 10 out of 10. For sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. One thing I want to give him credit for is the fact that a lot of this show it takes place in the swamp. Obviously, it wouldn't there'd be an issue if it didn't. But it's a lot of dark shots and dark ominous venues. But they really keep you invested in where you are. There's no mystery in terms of oh, this is a dark shot. You don't even really know what's going on. You see a lot of that now with action beats and stuff where they're trying to cover their asses, for lack of a better term, where they're oh, we're gonna make it dark so you can't see things. I know you talked to me about that with Godzilla. You just watched yesterday. They try to cover themselves by little tricks, but you don't see that here. Swamp Thing is there, you see him, he does the action, and there's no hiding around it.
Yeah, for sure. Everything's clear. You know exactly what's going on at all times, which is of course hard to do when your entire show is placed in a very dark swamp. But it's you're never lost. You're always in it, and you're always appreciating how the swamp looks. It feels like you're there, but you're also not lost in the dark, which is very, very nice. Mm-hmm. For a show called Swamp Thing, it's what you need.
Right. Which a lot of the times when they're adapting these things, we have issues with stuff like that, where it's oh, come on, the show's about a swamp. Why aren't we in it? Why aren't we there on the ground? But this show isn't having that issue at all.
Not at all.
Sometimes they do this stuff. They have a lot of problemes with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you're throwing
Will
right
Patton
into the swamp.
Will Patton is really he's in the swamp.
he's acting his ass off, but it's just not working. And I'm sorry, Will. Listen, I'm sure you're great. I'm sure you're a great dude, but I just can't listen to your Kentucky Fried Chicken accent for too much more. I can't do it.
And at the audition, they're like, "Sir," they're like, "Okay, you're from Louisiana."
He's the only one.
Go.
On set, he doesn't realize he's the only one doing this.
Yeah,
His own wife, Virginia Madsen in the show, who plays his wife, has nowhere even close to that bad. And they're both from there, so I don't get it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Hopefully, week to week, I'm not just here ranting about that, but I have a sneaking suspicion that I might be.
I assume that some of his accent is probably just himself. He's from South Carolina. I just googled that.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I mean,
but I don't think
maybe he feels like he's from from the
things.
South, and he knows the kind of
the kind
of
maybe,
twang.
Maybe he's the only one that's right. Maybe he's the one that's
maybe, but it's not working for a TV show.
Yeah, maybe.
If I was in Louisiana, I wouldn't say a word about it. I'm watching TV and I'm trying to be entertained, and it takes me out of it.
Yeah, when no one else is trying to do that. I mean, look, the sheriff tries. She really does.
Yeah, but that wasn't too bad. She was fine. I mean, she kind of came out of nowhere and was a little aggressive. She kind of came out of nowhere. I was like, whoa, who's this character? Because she just came in loud at the beginning of the episode. But She seems on point. I can bear that for what it is.
Yeah. And once again, Arcane.
Oh yeah, I mean we haven't talked about her yet. She's still fantastic.
Yeah, she was just awesome in the episode.
We also get her and her friend have some really good scenes towards the beginning.
Yeah.
I want to give credit. Liz Tremayne, that's her name. Tremaine. Liz Tremayne.
Something like that.
I don't have
Played by Maria Sten. That's the character.
She was just fantastic.
I mean, the two of them had some good scenes together towards the beginning. It was really working for me in terms of the chemistry. The chemistry can work with everybody for sure. So give them credit for that as well. I mean, listen, like if we had more problems with the episode, we'd tell you. But so far, like I'm not really having a lot of cons.
Yeah, I'm pretty like positive on it. Waiting for the next few. Since we're the one thing that's bad about seeing things early, especially these DC Universe shows, is that when you see it, you gotta wait like a good couple weeks to see the next episode.
I mean, that's a. It's not really a problem because we get to see it early.
First
and we
world
get to
God,
review
I'm
the
so
first
tired having
issue,
to wait for my early episodes.
But I do. But it's a plus to them because we're so excited to watch
hassle.
it. Like we're so excited to watch it that we don't want to have to wait.
Yeah.
You know, like I love binging shows
Yeah,
now, and it
that's
sucks that we have to wait. But listen, we get to see it early, so I'm very thankful for DC Universe. They're great people over there. Very helpful to us.
Look, we like deal with a couple of like press things and press screeners with other sites, and I'm sure that 100% Dolby does the best.
Oh,
so
by
far.
far, yeah. Of all the ones that
yeah.
we have, the few that we have, this
They're
is
consistent
by
with their
far the best
uploads
one.
and everything. It's
Yeah,
great.
for sure.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
great
for
press
sure.
releases. We get images. It's fantastic. They do a great job.
We love it.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
So if you're listening, thank you very much.
If you're
Hashtag.
listening,
We love your shows.
We love your shows. Hashtag sponsored.
I'm super excited for Stargirl. Let you know.
For real, honestly.
Stargirl's gonna be amazing.
When's Young Justice season 4? Come on, let's pop that out. Come
Yeah,
on.
green light everything.
Come on, let's get that out there.
Give me Titan season 2. I'm all for it. I'm ready.
Give me Doom Patrol right now.
All right. Well,
Yo.
any other thoughts before we wrap it up?
No, it was a great episode. I'm excited for the next one, and I can't wait to see what they do with these characters.
Yeah, I have nothing else to say in terms of the episode, but I do want to repeat what Jackson said in the beginning. The very first pilot review did really well on YouTube, so
It did super
I
well.
assume
Yeah,
this
thank
one
you very
probably.
much.
I hope this one goes at least a little close to that one. We'll keep doing it, hopefully, for the next few weeks.
Yeah. Let us know if
Well,
you
at
guys
least
like
until
this.
the season ends. And at least look, they cut 3 episodes, so now we don't gotta do 13
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to do 13, but if they'll give us 10, we'll see. We'll give you what we
We'll
got.
do
You know,
it.
that's what we
Yeah.
gotta do.
And we'll probably do it with Titans because I'm having fun this.
Yeah, absolutely.
reviewing it, every week.
Absolutely, if we can keep this going. If you guys like it and you want it and you want more, we'll absolutely review Titans. We'll absolutely review Stargirl when it comes out next year. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Okay,
Yep.
I think that's pretty much
All
it.
right,
Make sure
Jacob.
to follow at.
Oh,
yeah.
you want to plug
I'm gonna,
first?
No, I'm
I
gonna
was-
plug this site.
I was
I'm
gonna
gonna
throw it
plug the
around,
site.
but okay.
Oh, shit.
Mr. Big Shot
Okay,
today.
yeah. I have Full Circle Cinema on Twitter. Go to fullcirclecinema.com for all the good news, and of course, subscribe, like, and don't follow Jacob Campbell on Twitter or his Let's Talk Eternals account.
Do not follow Let's Talk Eternals. Do not. Don't feed his big ego.
How dare you, sir? You should know I don't ever upload on that Twitter.
Oh, okay.
I made that as a meme, and it got out of hand.
All right,
But
Jacob,
you can
where can
absolutely
people
follow
find
me
you?
at JacobCamp13.
Yep. All right, you can follow me
good
at
plug.
Jackson8067, like Marco said. Check out the site. You
I'm not-
can follow
yeah, I'm
him
not
at
even-
BizGamer9. I'll give you that.
Wait, I wasn't even gonna say it. I was gonna like flash it on the screen, like.
Well,
follow
because you're
me.
editing this, you think you're okay?
Yeah.
To plug all of our Twitter.
I expect a flash of
I'm gonna
my
put a
Twitter.
While we're on
Yeah.
the air, I need you to change the photo. I don't like that photo. You need to use my new Twitter one. I'll DM it to you.
I'm gonna put the Swamp Thing.
Over my face. Okay. So
It's just
Yeah.
Will Patton's voice the entire time.
you get a voice changer.
Will Patton's
Just put a
face.
Louisiana accent on me.
Can we please do that? We need that for the next episode.
Okay. How
Sure.
about next week? I will. When we come back off the little break that we have for this, because we won't get the next episode for 2 weeks, I will try to do Will Patton's accent.
If
to host
this
the show.
video gets 100 views, we
There
will
you go.
have
If-
Will
no, if
the
this-
we will have Will the Swamp Patton on. Okay.
If this gets 300 views and 30 likes, I will do the Louisiana accent. How about that?
I'm activating the view bot right now.
I'll know. We will know. We know stats. All right.
Okay.
All right.
See
Well,
ya.
just thank you for listening. Like Marco said, just don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff, and we'll check you out next week.
Yeah, they already left. It's all good.
Yeah, I know
they,
they did.
they were out like in the first 2 minutes, guys.